Hey, Can't Get Right listeners. The Can't Get Right podcast is one of the many podcasts here on the Gas Digital Network. Gas Digital has a massive on-demand library of thousands of hours of your favorite podcasts and shows, all in full HD, ad-free, and uncensored. As a Gas Digital Network member, you get a unique user profile, access to new live chat during a show's premiere, and all the newest full-length episodes of your favorite Gas Digital shows days before they become available to the public. So sign up on gasdigitalnetwork.com and use promo code KURT, K-U-R-T, to get a 7-day free trial on us and see if you like it. And if you decide to stay after the 7 days, you'll get an additional $150 off of your membership every month. That's gasdigitalnetwork.com, promo code KURT, K-U-R-T. Get a free 7-day trial. Okay, back to the show.
Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Yeah, I know. Because I can't get right. This is cutthroat. This burns as words hot from a snub nose. This Kurt Metzger and not give a fuck mode. Because I can't get right. Because I can't get right. Yeah. You're listening to Can't Get Right.
Hey, this is Kurt Metzger, Can't Get Right. And I have a very lovely, very special guest, a returning guest, Michael Malice, who you might have seen in all my YouTube feed. I get like nonstop Michael Malice videos in my feed now, by the way, Michael Malice.
Is that your spank bank?
Oh, I'm thinking of my Pornhub feed. No, I was watching you talk to that British guy who's like kind of like, he's like a handsome jock British guy that talks to like...
Douglas Murray? Chris Williamson?
Maybe that was it, Chris Williamson.
Yeah, Apollo.
Yeah, it was. I was. The first thing I wanted to bring up though, because this also popped up in my feed, and I don't know if this came up to you, because you're an anarchist, right? You're not like a
Correct.
Libertarian.
Correct.
Do people like put it out there that you're some kind of right winger? Is that like
people put out? You know perfectly well. People put out things about everybody.
No, I know. I just mean, is that like a specific? Because I don't even know why I wouldn't have known you were anarchist or like, or is it, I guess everybody gets lumped into like a right thing. But anyway.
Well, the previous book I wwrote was called The New Right, which is about the kind of fringe right. So of course they're gonna, right. People are gonna think that.
Well, why would you platform them by talking about them?
Exactly. Right.
If people know about stuff that's so, do you know the? It's not like, I wouldn't say it's a real controversy, but did you see the,
Cenk
Uyghur's beautiful Turkish nephew, Hassan?
No.
Hassan.
The one who got the house.
Yeah.
Well, I more power to him.
Right. Well, yeah, I think it's like fans of his that are mad because it's like the, the new 17 magazine kind of socialist where they, it's like the.
No, but I get this too. People are like, oh, would you ever call the cops even though you're against the cops? I'm like, yeah, if I was in prison, I would get food and I'd eat the food. And if you're forcing me to be defenseless because you keep me disarmed. Guys,
I had to take a quick break and thank one of our favorite sponsors and one of our biggest supporters here at Can't Get Right, Fume. Fume. It's a natural inhaler that makes it easy to get the benefits of super plants on the go. Fume is a Canadian-made wooden inhaler with no electronics and cores filled only with the benefits of super plants, no chemicals added. Fume is a natural and portable tool for allergy relief, relaxation, a great nicotine replacement tool, and it's got a pocket fit. Just slide your favorite cores into your Fume and breathe in the benefits of Mother Nature. It's that simple. Check out their variety of blends and their benefits at www.breathethefume.com and use code KURT, K-U-R-T, for 10% off on your order at Fume. Fume has a variety of flavors such as Reassurance, which is lavender, lemon, cinnamon for calming, stress relief, and anti-inflammatory benefits. The top seller is black pepper. It's called Conquer. It's for kicking nicotine cravings. And the new one's Invigorate, which is a great pre-workout energy booster. Head to breathethefume.com/Kurt. That's breathefum.com/KURT and use code KURT to save 10%. And breathe in the benefits of the world's super plants today. All right, back to the show.
I'm going to use whatever resources are necessary to protect my life. Shame, and I'm not going to be embarrassed about it. Why would? What? So it's like you're going to make me like crippled, and then I'm not going to take your wheelchair?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's but I think people don't get those I don't. I think there's like an emotional thing where people can't.
No, there's
It's like
big
all or nothing. You know, you're all in or you're.
there's this mindset of like, oh, if you believe this, then you should be the one sticking your neck on the line. And it's like you could advocate for views. If you're for free speech in this kind of colloquial sense, doesn't mean that if someone's talking to you on the train, you're going to be like, hey, buddy, let's have a long conversation. It's
Right.
it's very weird when people try to play gotcha, because I think very intentionally we're all trained since we're kids, and especially in government schools, not to think critically and to point out things that are like really just dumb, supposed hypocrisies. And here's another thing: just because someone's a hypocrite doesn't mean they're wrong, right? Like if I'm saying that you shouldn't be promiscuous and I'm cheating a lot, maybe I'm a bad person, but the point about promiscuity being good or bad is irrelevant here. It's secondary.
Well, I think it's less about a point being right than it is about,
you're a phony.
a moral judgment from.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. Like with the Jehovah's Witnesses, that bugs me is that whole molestation thing they just covered up with like thousands of people, and like you lost your authority completely now. Like you told me you're the one God picked, and everybody else wasn't. And then you told me stories about what God does when you do that, which is like, have you been alive by worms and kinds of wacky shit. And you're guilty of it. And now I'm not supposed to talk too much about it because it could stumble people out of the one true faith.
Yeah.
And that gets repeated over and over. But so Bobby, you have the picture that I sent you of Hassan? Because I heard the same thing of like, by the way, $3 million house is not necessarily, he's in the hills, but that's not like,
it's not crazy money, and he's very successful.
$3 million ain't shit. I mean, like a lot of places, a house will cost for $1 million. You'd be surprised how not.
Well, that's why I just moved.
House that is. That's
why I just moved from Austin. I'm renting, but like compared to what I just moved to Austin this week. That's why I'm at my friend's house. I still have my crap. It's en route, but I still made time for you, Kurt, because I love you and I'm in love with you.
I want you inside me. All right, got it. I'm sorry.
I've gotten your text, you dumb boomer. And I got your text where you said, "Did you get my text?"
Did you get my other text?
I got your DM about your text. Kurt's the kind of guy that when he hits print and it doesn't work, he just hits print again.
Yeah, I have crippling ADHD as well as.
Is that true?
I mean, I wouldn't say crippling, but I work around it.
Yeah,
I treat it with marijuana constantly.
Okay, that's not good.
I mean, it's fine. But wait, I wait. I'm sorry. I want to hear the thing you were saying before.
I don't even remember what I was saying. The point is about the guy having this nice. I'm at my friend's house. He's getting messages from his mom. Like literally, I'm getting notifications on the screen about mom and Bitcoin going to China. No, if he's a successful streamer, whatever it is that he does, it's not like he's being dishonest. He's selling some ridiculous product about stop the steal or Trump. So I don't think it's even if you're a socialist, more power to you.
Yeah, I don't. Also, what I thought about was I'm like, is it that someone just reported on his house he bought, or did he? Like, it's one thing if like he just bought a house and then like the dirt or whoever broke the stuff, finds it and puts it somewhere, like. Or is it like a PR thing that some of these streamers do? Like, we just bought a house and whatever.
That's true. Yeah.
So if he contacted the press, that's how if he contacted the press, like, check out my house and then I'm like, that's fucking, But we put that picture up, Bobby, that I sent you of him with his hat. This is the thing that shocked me is it's his fans, right? And I don't know. I assume his demographic is like girls mostly. Yeah,
God.
This is where I'm like, how, like, okay, whatever. You're a Hassan Piker fan. How are you mad? Like, you actually looked at this guy and were like, I want to know, like, he's my guru of socialism, and I want to know all his thoughts. Like, just look at the hat alone, dude. Never mind the Obama shirt.
But I think the thing is, when you're a dude who's a model, you can wear like a clown suit, and like you can get away with it.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the evidence right now. So, I mean, holy shit. Like that, he could be brilliant. I would never. I've already written him off as like, oh, tell me all about politics. It's not like in a million years, I would never even think to look to him.
But you know what? You'd look to him. You'd look to him to tell a girl, "Hey, I just wrote this song about you," and he takes out his guitar.
Yeah,
and like it's like then it becomes like a water park for them down there.
I mean, that's the thing. This is I like what I'm fascinated too by is like this is a new way of getting chicks. Like formerly, like being in a band or something. Or my girlfriend was saying it like when she was in school, all the kids. She went to school in California. Everybody was like into hardcore bands, and they would get in arguments about who's more core. And like
Of course.
And now it's like now it's like replace core with queer. Like it's with gender, and it's like they're like gender core. They're not like
You think that's what he's doing?
I think he's doing whatever. I read some interview or something about him, like a puff piece, not a hit piece. He was talking about growing up, like being in Turkey, and they're like, in America, the girls fuck you. That's what his like somebody used to say to him. His friends. So his dreams, because he's that kind of dude. Like he's like a frat boy, but grew up in Turkey,
right?
And so it's the same as like Guidos or like these. In Jersey, there'd be these guys on the weekend driving, and they'd be blasting the worst like fucking Jersey techno club.
Oh yeah.
Like, where like it's the noise coming out of their car. If you got in the car, the song sounded exactly how it sounded.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do you like that? I'm like, oh, because chicks they're getting chicks. That like is the type of guys like.
I don't think it's just chicks. I think it's also I grew up in Bensonhurst, so kind of when I was a kid, I saw a lot of this. I think it's also status, right? Because I'm trying to outperform the other guy, and I look like a big shot.
Like, what's the point of that?
But it's part of it. It's also because you want to look cool in front of your boys.
Go back to the picture 1 second, Bobby. Who are his boys that saw
No,
this?
I'm talking about the guys with the music. They're not. That's not only the chicks. That's also like my friend's got a cool car.
Yes, I agree. But do you think, like, what makes you?
Wait, hold on. I'm reading these messages from mom. If we can get our hands in their pocketbooks, then it would be okay. I don't know what she's saying. I'm gonna keep reading these messages. Yeah,
dude, it's terrifying that this is the age of like I don't want all my shit funneled onto my computer and my thing. That's terrifying.
On Kurt's podcast.
On a fucking podcast. Isn't that crazy?
This is what happened. My friends shouldn't trust me to use their computer.
Well, that's the thing that's beyond that. The computers just do that whether you want it or not.
Yes. No, they don't, you boomer. It's a setting he has. I love the idea the computer has its own setting. And Kurt's like, well, I guess there's no way I can change this.
Your shit doesn't sync up on its own with it.
No, of course not.
Do you not have Apple products?
I do not have Apple products. I have to switch to an iPhone. I got as a gift. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in the Apple,
but even if you have Apple products, you can make it not sync and pop up text on your screen.
Well, I don't have that. I don't have it set up on my screen. This was somebody else's computer they gave me because mine broke.
Okay.
But when I do stuff with Kyle, we make sketches. Like his computer stuff's always popping up on his fucking screen.
Okay.
This is like I hate that. Like I don't even like when you get out of a van and you just go to close the door and then it won't close. The door just slowly.
I love that.
Oh my God.
Okay, I just moved into a new house this week. On my phone, I can open up my garage door and close it, even though I don't know how to drive. Yeah. I could set the thermostat on every floor differently. And there's something else I can do. Open the door, the keypad. That's pretty cool.
I know. And be a vector in the surveillance state for their fucking.
That's gonna.
You're part of a spy network automatically.
Listen, if the CIA wants to know that I keep the thermostat cool, that more power to them. I think I hear a train.
Oh, my phone just dinged. Tell me if you think this is if I'm being paranoid with this because we made this Fresh Prez sketch thing of Biden, right? And there's a part where he's talking to Xi Jinping.
Yeah.
Okay, so the agony of figuring out how to do the voice of Xi Jinping. I mean, I can't tell you. We recorded 3 times. The first time, Kyle did a voice like the bad guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's like,
okay,
how do we talk? But I'm like, somebody's gonna say this is racist, and then some friend is like, oh, you shouldn't do the voice, and then all right, we got a Chinese comic we know that sounded more racist than Kyle.
Was it Margaret Cho?
No, it was a guy who's from China.
Okay.
So then I'm like, oh, let's make him like an Italian gangster. And
okay.
I passed the whole. That was the workaround. But while we were trying to figure that out, we're talking about it in front of his computer.
Yeah.
And he has Alexa and all that set up. So this shit, it listens to your conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So later, he kept getting ads for Stop Asian Hate popping up on his fucking. Now, listen, I would have said that sounds crazy, but that's a real thing. Now, maybe it wasn't at that point, but from what I understand, if you're talking about TVs, you'll go somewhere and your phone will fucking start mentioning, TVs and shit. But
Right.
I was like, it was just so strange to get all these Stop Asian Hate commercials, which, by the way, didn't help.
It didn't work.
It was that chick, who's the one who played Psylocke in an X-Men movie, and she goes, you know that shooting in Atlanta at the massage parlor?
Yeah.
And she goes, this 6 women were shot down only because they were Asian. I'm like,
Oh,
already you've lost me with your fucking...
Yeah.
Olivia Munn, yeah. I mean, you're not aware that's a whorehouse and the guy had a problem with hookers? He killed like 3 other races while he was there. Of other people who, by the way, don't have a problem. He clearly didn't have a problem with Asians. You know,
Right.
he was a patron that he couldn't stop going. He was way into them. I think he liked them a little too much was what turned out to be the problem. And then
Talk about an unhappy ending.
All right, let's see if ads come on my computer now that we
Fairy tales.
do. Is it Park Me? I don't remember her name. The one from
Yeon Mi Park.
Yeah, I was watching a bunch of her videos. Have you talked to a lot of people that got out of North Korea?
A fair amount. I mean, she was on my show not too long ago. She's reading a chapter for the audiobook of the Anarchist Handbook. So we're pals.
Oh. So I read a couple of things. I was just like looking up stuff about her. I read a couple of things where they're like, they didn't seem very trustworthy to me, I must say, the way they were written. But it was like kind of like like saying she was lying about certain things, and other people who've escaped North Korea said I didn't know about that. I was like, I mean, I'm sure the way the country runs, it's very possible she'd see stuff that somebody else didn't see, and vice versa.
Well, first of all, when people escape, they have to be very careful about what they talk about publicly, right? Because if there's a route that is being used by North Korean defectors to get to freedom, if you're going to talk about that, those people are still out there, right? So I was there. I had to be very careful when I talked about it because my guide is still there. Those people are there. So you really have to do kind of a tightrope. The North Korean policy is, if you get out, the great leader Kim Il-sung, who was the founder of North Korea, said class enemies must be exterminated 3 generations. That's the quote.
Right.
So that means if someone is punished, 3 generations of your family got to get punished. And if you escape, they're just going to kill or concentration camp the people who are left. So right away, anyone who's a refugee, things have to be, they really got to be careful about it. And the thing with North Korea, people ask me if I felt, unsafe speaking about the regime, and I like to pretend I'm a badass. I'm fine because as a white person, I'm like an animal to them, but they do go after their own. Because if she is or somebody else is an example of, I got out of here, look how bad North Korea is, and informing the population, they're going to be much more receptive to former North Korean than the artisan Westerner who they know is full of lies and propaganda anyway. Right. So I'm sure she's not alone, that there's, different defectors have to have different, their stories sometimes change over time. What we do know, which is not in dispute, is that during the 90s, 1 to 2 million people starved to death. This was by design by the government. They refused to allow food to come into the country. Even now, if you leave, your family's going to be executed, and the borders are being clamped down. So I think this is kind of missing the forest for the trees. The big concern is we have a population of like 22 million people who have been slaves for a very long time. And what can we do about that rather than worrying about
what can we do? What can we do about that?
There's very little we can do. What we can do, the very first thing we can do is at the very least have some sympathy for these people instead of regarding them as a laughingstock. When I did my book, Dear Reader, that came out 2014, it was coming out of a world police kind of context, and people are like, ha ha. And that's completely changed now because no one looks at them or like, oh, look at these clowns. Everyone's like, this is really, really bad. So that's something that I think has changed for the better, but does that put food on their plates? No.
Yeah, right. Well, I watched, do you know Jimmy Dore?
Yeah, of course.
So I was laughing because I was watching his video tearing apart this Bill Maher new rules from, I don't know, like a couple nights ago. Sometimes I like Bill Maher's new. I don't across the board think he stinks, but it was a stupid, like I even understood what Bill Maher was trying to get at, which was like, woke it down a notch ultimately, but his whole thing about, okay, at least when we go to America, we're somewhere, when we were in the middle Afghanistan, we were there fighting oppression. You're like, shut the fuck up, Bill Maher. Like, it was such a stupid, like, you still live in the Obama times in your head or something. Because dude, I didn't know this. This is a thing that shocks me. Every time I think about it, it's so like mind-blowing. But did you know that the casualties in Iraq, that they used to say they didn't know how many Iraqis died? But we found out because Chelsea Manning leaked it, which I didn't know at the time that this was part of the information. I remember the video. 3 for every 1 insurgent, they killed 3 non-combatants.
Yeah, it's some crazy. And the other thing that, and even if you're going to pretend Iraqi lives don't matter to you, which is a really despicable position, but whatever, I can wrap my head around it. Do you think that all those people who see innocent people getting like bombed are just going to be like, well, at least it's the good guys doing it? That's not a thing. You know, if you see this invasion,
right.
And you're taking out Saddam, but wait a minute, by taking out Saddam, you're leveling the hospital I was born, the town I grew up.
It reminded me of what you were saying to that, I forgot his name, the British guy that I just asked you about at the beginning.
Chris Williamson. About
Trump being the dam and not the river. And
yes, yeah.
And I was like, because the parallels of that, I saw like way back when, before Trump even, of like, this was like in like 2012 when I guess the Mayans were right and the world started to end. And that's when I started seeing the feminist, like, all the patriarchy, we got to destroy it was all debathification.
Yeah.
We got to debathify all the things. And you're like, you know, some of these people are just in it. They don't have to be, they know how to run. Okay, great. You're just going to put someone from Bob Jones University,
right,
who doesn't speak the language. So that same thing, like we're going to have like someone installed in like comedy or whatever, comic books. We're going to install someone from Bob Jones fucking University. And then they can't believe. It's the same as when I used to laugh at right-wingers for being mortified at the Black Panthers. Remember the new Black Panthers at one Obama election?
Yeah, they were standing outside the voting booths.
Yeah, and then they show, and it was like, they made a big to-do out of it. And like, I mean, if you were intimidated by these 2 guys, then you shouldn't vote for sure.
But it's also, weren't they in like black districts where like the voters are going to be like 90% for Obama anyway? Like, it's not like they're in rural Iowa.
Well, they were mad at the very... Well, again, they were mad at the very thought they're outraged at the very thought of, like, how could you do this, form the Black Panthers after we were so good to you? Like, wear a beret and be mad.
Well, it's also, to defend the leftist, it's like you guys talk about how guns make society better and an armed society is polite society, but as soon as you have this black dude with a gun standing peacefully, not talking, he's not getting in anyone's face, on the public sidewalk, it's like, oh my God, this is not what cost Mitt Romney the election, I assure you.
You're right. It was that stupid speech that somebody recorded.
It was everything.
Also square.
He's the worst. He's absolute garbage.
Yeah, he's a real glass of fucking warm milk, isn't he?
Curdled milk, yes.
Yeah, the absolute, you know, I also wonder how much you guys were talking about Antifa stuff, and like I started watching Chris Hedges stuff from Jimmy. And Chris Hedges doesn't like them. And he goes, like, they're like almost an apparatus. They help the powers that be. They're nothing but help for that. And they go, oh, we're just using a variety of tactics. But they just have one, which is like, even like punching and not like, I got an argument with Sasha Cohen on that show that I worked on about, he goes, what's wrong with punching Nazis? And I'm like, I don't know, the driving of Nazi membership, I guess, is one problem.
I wrote an article about this at the time. It's like the problem is you're defining everyone as a Nazi, right? So you're going to tell me that
your identification is off. Yeah.
If are you going to say Kayleigh McEnany should be punched in the face? Because there's a lot of people. She was Trump's press secretary. So if you're going to think that Trump is a literal fascist and he's bringing in, you know, fascism or Nazism, and this is his Goebbels, if it's okay to punch Richard Spencer, why isn't it okay to punch her? Like, where do you draw this line?
It's such a child-brained. First of all, Richard Spencer's gay, so you're gay bashing when you punch him. But it's such a child-brained, like, Captain America, here's a swift clop to the chops, Hitler. Like,
and here's the other thing.
They had to kill Nazis. They didn't. It wasn't.
Right. Yeah. Punching these Nazis is not going to do any. Like,
they're just going to go get more. That's. Yeah. But it's like this child brain thing of like love of violence with no concept of what it's like.
Right. And it's also the sense of frustration of being powerless. And now I get to feel power over the people who make me feel uncomfortable.
Actually, that's probably the number one over. The same thing for the worst kind of cops, I guess you could say.
There's only one kind. That's the worst kind. I was at Charlottesville and they were all swarming the streets and they were just itching for a fight. Antifa. They were begging for it. The tension was crazy. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. I saw these proud articles at the time about how they have a tradition, the Black Bloc, going all the way back to Germany when they used to fight with the Nazis in the street. And they were so successful that Hitler was elected in fair and free elections through their tactics. Great job, Black Bloc. Proud. Yeah.
No, one of the things they talk about, which they're not wrong, is that they've been able to successfully shut down people from speaking, right? So if that is your goal, then it's undeniable that sometimes they're successful. So they can pat themselves on the back for that. But I think in terms of getting people to their side, I think their outreach program is very weak.
Well, how much of them, I mean, especially in like Portland or something, like, you know how all the Capitol protesters and a lot of these cases, there's like 200 or 300, like the group conspiring is there's almost as many. Yeah, there's almost as many FBI.
Right.
Which, by the way, they did to Arabs for years. Just
of course.
Pay, like, they do the thing, the American thing of shipping it out, a second party handling it, like Verizon or Chase Bank.
Yeah.
Not a problem. They're like, oh, we'll just pay this guy money to go find. He's Muslim. He'll find the terrorists, and that guy would find people with like mental disabilities or problems, and then there's like 300 of those cases at least.
And that's how Gas Digital Network got started.
And that is how.
You didn't know Ralph is a psyop? He's clearly a Frankenstein. Lewis ain't really like that. He's Stephen Hawking, man. He just passes.
Yeah. So I got to imagine if they were doing that with them, certainly when you hear people like, why aren't they doing anything about Antifa? They probably have people in it that are voting them on to do more shit.
Well, they should have people there. I don't want to say rooting them on, like encouraging them.
I said that, but now I'm like, is it still COINTELPRO shit that they do now? Like, I always thought it was like, oh, good, they're spying on Moss or whatever.
Go to Nikki's tomorrow. She's got the kids, so she really likes it. I didn't catch the rest of that.
Oh my God, dude! Did you hear about? This is the kind of stuff that comes up on my YouTube. Besides Michael Malice, Michael, I watch him in 15-minute spurts. Then I stop. Then
I get some lotion.
But what the fuck is his name? Chris Chan. Do you know what Chris
God,
Chan is?
I'm very aware of the Christian Saga from a long time ago. Yes.
Oh, okay. You heard of it from a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby, do you know who Chris Chan is? Is Bobby there?
I don't.
Yes.
No, it's Mike. Hi.
Hey, Mike. Oh.
Hey, Kurt.
Yeah. Will you find a picture of Chris Chan? Just a nice visual to put.
There's no nice visuals. Yeah. There's only bad visuals.
Well, I watched some because there's like people that archive. It really is fascinating. It almost reminds me of like a terrible version of Toby from American Splendor. Like, okay, if that went super wrong.
You know, Harvey Pekar wrote a book about me, so I'm
yeah, right. That's what I'm asking. Yeah,
I actually that's not a bad comparison, Toby Radloff to Chris Chen. But let's spoiler alert with the saga, which is the internet goaded Chris Chan into having sex with his demented mother, and they started doing this repeatedly.
Oh my God! Wait. Wait, are you telling me that that wasn't his idea? Like someone like, hey, go fuck your mom, and he did it?
Yes.
Wow, they really, compared to the prank where he thought he was meeting a girl and then a guy in a pickle suit takes the girl. Yeah. That's a lot. They went a lot harder with that prank.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
That's a lot. And he would brag about his girlfriend being reticent. And then she got into it, and then people put two and two together, and the girlfriend was his mom who has dementia.
No, I know that part. Oh no, I'm aware of that part of it. That part stuck out. But I watched a whole long thing about all his history of getting bullied, and the guy seems to be not someone who hates him. See he made a comic, whoever doesn't know, called Sonichu, that was Sonic and Pikachu mixed together, right? And it was like an autobiographical, and he's autistic.
Very. And lots of other problems. There's a blender of mental issues going on here.
Yeah, and he's so autistic that he hates Asperger people because they take attention and sympathy away from autism.
He also is trans, and when he had a wound in his taint, he thought that was God giving him a vagina.
Yeah, right. Well, he was listening to a lot of he had like headphones, and he would listen to vagina changing thoughts.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he had his thing, and he was explaining the process.
Oh, but here's the other thing. So we should say she. They are thinking of putting Chris Chan in a woman's jail, and this might actually reach the Supreme Court.
I hope that it does.
Of course, I hope that it does. I've never wanted anything more.
I mean, I really hope that goes to the Supreme Court.
Because then Clarence Thomas is gonna have to ask like, what's 4chan? What's a meme?
Yeah.
What's what are these? What's NGL mean?
Those are signs of radicalization.
LOL, Lucifer, our Lord. WTF, worship the fallen.
Yeah. Dude, one time Lewis told me he was getting a tattoo. He didn't. He was getting a tattoo of the chest of Gabriel or something, or Michael, or being stabbed from behind with a spear by a demon. Like
that's a famous painting.
Is that what he was describing from the?
I think he was. I think Gustave Doré did that painting. If I'm visualizing it correctly.
I mean, I was like, first of all, please don't get that, Lewis. Don't get a demon. And also, there's a very homo.
Yo, dog, I hear you like demons, so I'm gonna tattoo a demon on a demon.
It reminded that paint the reason I thought of that was when that shitty HeMan came out that everybody trashed Kevin Smith for, because you know what they did with HeMan, right?
I don't even want to know, because I have every HeMan figure unopened in my house.
Is that right?
Yes. So I was such a fan of that show, so I don't want to know what they're doing to it.
Can I please just tell you?
No, I don't. It's just gonna hurt my feelings.
What if you had to guess what they did?
Is Tila the hero now?
Oh, you've seen it?
No, I'm guessing. Of course,
okay.
that's my guess.
So word came out, because it looks awesome. The animation looked like awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
Did they make him She-Man?
No, you got the Tila part. And then a rumor came out that, like, hey, they're making it about Tila. And then he came out and said, that's ridiculous. The show's called HeMan. HeMan steps aside for he has this whole thing of whatever. So when the show comes out, they kill off HeMan the first episode, and the rest of it's about Tila.
No.
Exploring, yeah. And she gets like a severe haircut. She quits her job because she's mad that no one told her that Prince Adam was HeMan.
Oh
and
my God.
And then she teams up. I mean, it's classic. Teams up with the evil Lynn.
Evil Lynn, yeah.
They bond over being women and having something men. But the funniest scene is where
they have She-Ra for this. This is what She-Ra is about.
Well, no, that's for gay kids. This one's for
She-Ra's girls. It was girl power.
It was going down on girl power. But now straight girls need a girl show too.
She-Ra wasn't gay. She had a boyfriend. Well, Bo was pretty gay because he got that gay mustache.
You know about the new She-Ra?
No.
That came out a long time ago.
What happened?
It's all lesbian. It's all
no. It's not for kids. Lesbian.
Not only is it, it's really strange because it looks really drawn for kids. Like it's in that like the He-Man cartoon, the one they made. It looked cool, but the She-Ra one looks like garbage ass. What did that guy call it? The Cal Art style of animation that it looks like some Tumblr horseshit. So. But I mean, I never gave a shit about She-Ra growing up then. But
Shadowweaver was the coolest character. You know, there's one figure I don't have from She-Ra, which is Spinnerella, which is like $1,000 now.
I do remember Spinnerella.
Yeah, she's the hardest character.
The thing I remember was the He-Man of the fun I had out of those toys, because they were very popular.
Yeah.
The He-Man slime pit.
Oh yeah, I had that.
Which is, I guess it was said it was a torture device, and you put He-Man in it, and then they dumped the green slime down,
yeah,
like fucking cum. You just dump it on. Because I didn't understand what it did. It didn't like kill him or anything. It just go, no, like.
It's like Nickelodeon.
Yeah, no, I know. Nickelodeon, I think, was a form of grooming. Looking back, because of that, sure. Everything's about dumping slime in your hair from minor faux pas. Like, kids want to get sloppy.
Kurt's not bald. He shaved his head because he doesn't want to have that happen again.
Yeah, I did one episode of Double Dare, and I said never again.
Fuck you, Mark Harmon.
Yeah, well,
I'm not looking for your condom in these waffles.
But listen, coming in your hair was the old Nickelodeon. Now, I don't know if you're aware.
It's all about feet.
They've moved on to foot fetish.
It's Dan, what's his name? He was the guy from Head of the Class.
That's right. Dennis Blunden.
Fat kid.
Dennis Blunden from Head of the Class. And also,
it's a pedo.
I forgot this. Ricky from Better Off Dead.
Oh.
Who was dating the French girl.
Man, we're showing our age, huh? Hey, kids, remember Better Off Dead?
I know.
Remember Head of the Class?
I know. You called me a boomer like a hypocrite 4 times after explaining you're cool with hypocrisy. So I got it. So anyway, so Kevin Smith made this He-Man, and that angel getting stabbed behind the devil. There's a scene where Skeletor is ramming his spear through the back of Prince Adam, and it's the most it looks like he's getting fucked in the ass. It's got just such a like, but the hilarious part was Kevin Smith talking about it like, you guys are crazy. Like, I hate to say gaslighting, the most overused word, but holy shit. I almost think, Robespierre's final speech before.
No, what about it?
His final words, he goes, "There's no such thing as cancel culture." And then they chopped his fucking head off. And he fucking had it coming. Je suis no. Jacques. They called it Jacques culture. Do you think Jacques culture is going too far, Robespierre? It's like, there's no such thing.
Jacques culture was with the Dreyfus affair.
I know, it's French, so I used it.
That's the only French word you know. Escargot culture.
No, I had it. I was gonna make, before I made Pussies with Kyle, I was gonna make a fake show and I was gonna call it I had a funny like French name for it, and it was just gonna be me like doing like SJW shit, but I ended up doing Pussies instead and just folded into that. But I actually had to. I wish I remember the actual title because it's pretty funny, but I learned how to pronounce it exactly right.
Oh, okay.
So that when I did it, it would be like, because you got to put your tongue on the bottom of your
Yeah. I forgot French, but I still kind of can understand it.
Did you take it in school or something, or did you learn it? What can you speak besides?
Russian is my first language, and I forgot Hebrew, and French I still kind of can get.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, your first language is Russian. Wait, so how old were you when you got here again? To America?
1.5.
So were you speaking at 1.5? That seems very early.
Well, I was also speaking later, and we spoke Russian at home.
Oh. I didn't even put that together. I can't speak any language as well, like in the Henry Miller book.
You're demilingual.
Yeah. I have, what is less than one language? What is that?
Demilingual.
Demilingual.
Yeah.
I have to really be in love with a language to speak it.
That's why they call it a romance language. You got to love it to speak it.
Oh, yeah. I hope they fucking sterilize all the romance, like how, like a nice Latinx treatment to like all the. That's such an amazing thing to me to pull that off. Like, hey, great news, guys. Your new name is Latinx. Like,
but they haven't pulled it off. Spanish people don't buy into that shit. Only ones who go to white college.
Yeah, no. I know somebody who did it, it is also a flag you can fly to, like if you're looking for certain kinds of jobs.
Yes,
I can't
sure.
really get into specifics, but it's a thing you put down to, like in American History X, when he takes off his shirt to show the swastika so his people know. That's a thing you can do. Like, you say Latinx. Why don't you come right into the the place where we're all saying that?
I'm friends with Ethan Suplee, who's in that movie, and I was on Rogan and I referred to American History 10, and he thought I was serious. It was one of the most surreal moments of my life.
Really?
Yeah.
You're like, what was part 9 good?
9.
Well, I understand it if I didn't see the first 9.
And the prequel?
Like, 0. Is it all of history?
I mean, if you want to know the civil rights movement, you got to understand slavery. So that's at least there's some other 3 movies in there.
Did you see I saw this on some, what was it, Lotus Eaters or something? They have an atheist chaplain at Harvard now. They just announced a new atheist chaplain.
What does that mean?
I know, isn't it a hilarious, like, he's like, no, we don't need to believe in God. We believe in each other. Like, why do I need a chaplain then?
That's sad.
Like, it's one of the most pathetic, like, whenever people insult religion, they go, oh, it's a crutch and whatever. And you're like, oh, you're going to say that. And you want, you don't want any of the part that's good of it.
Yeah, the community. I guess they do. They want the community. That's a good part of it. Some of it.
Yes. Well, I meant like the forgiveness and the,
I don't
basic,
like that. I don't like that part at all.
No, you don't care for it? It's very Russian.
Yeah, of course.
Very Russian of you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they were interviewing him just like, I went to a Unitarian wedding, a wedding at a Unitarian church once. Yeah, and but the guy I talked to the guy.
Was the cake flavorless?
I mean, that's a good way to like metaphorically, the whole thing was like a big flavorless cake.
Yeah.
But I was talking about it, and I didn't know, this is a long time ago, and he was explaining how it was invented by like, is it the one from when Thomas Jefferson cut out bits of the Bible to make his
No,
own.
that's something different. But yeah,
It's from founding fathers invented Unitarian.
I think it's deism. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's yes, but it's part. What I thought it was, it's like from that
Tradition.
So
Okay,
he's
sure.
like, yeah, and I'm just like, okay, like, why don't I just cut out the middleman and not go to church? like I don't understand. That I just blows my mind as somebody who went. I went a lot, dude. I went 3 days a week. Okay, the Tuesday book study is an hour. Now sometimes there's cake on the first of the month. Thursday was 2 meetings. That's 2 hours.
This sounds like Planet Fitness.
It was like, yes, and that's what it was. It was just your spiritual fitness. That's a great way to put it. And if you're not showing up and putting in time at the gym, that's probably your spiritual. Yeah, no, I could have given a good talk with that analogy. And but are we neglecting our spiritual fitness?
Am I going to press the lunk alarm because you've been coveting too much?
Yeah. And then Sundays 2 hours, and then there's conventions a couple times a year. Sometimes in Veteran Stadium size conventions, sometimes a smaller but gigantic. And those are like 8 hours long.
Wow.
There's intermissions and stuff. But anyway, I can't tell you how. And I'm someone who likes to read, and I like to read Bible stuff because it's so salacious and interesting. And I like, I used to escape by reading the Bible from the boredom of the talk. I had a Bible, so I just read the stories because I was so. And I just remember my mom sitting there leaning forward. She's in her chair, like that's how much she's into it. Like it's an MMO game.
But I've not been a part of that, but I would imagine that it's like the opposite of M. Night Shyamalan. Like, how the story is going to end every time, don't you?
Dude, you just took the word. That's exactly where I was going. Like she's like, take note. There's when you take notes. They'd be like, are you taking note? Like, I got it, man. Like,
yeah,
like,
it's not
are you
complicated.
Taking notes? Okay, Jesus is good. Has that changed since I got to the fuck? Dude, I went to somebody else's church in New York. This guy Greg used to book the comic strip, and he asked me to go to his church with him one time. So I'm like, cool, I'll go to your church with you. And it was a New York, like hot people church. It turned out, and it was like all people want to act and.
Wait, did they have you on stage to throw rocks at you? Get out of here! You don't belong.
They dragged me in. They wrapped me up in cellophane.
This is the enemy.
Oh my
They're
God.
not hot.
I was like 25, so I was a real piece of ass. That like you would have DM'd me back faster back in those days. So anyway, I go to church and the guy's talking, and it's because I'm curious about like what they say at other stuff because I've been to so much of this, and okay, and then they're talking, at one point they're talking about Jesus. I don't know, it's a popular story about the death of Jesus, and the guy next to me is like, we prayed like this with our hands, together.
Yeah.
But there's like this, I don't know the reception of this, but some people pray hands out. They do like a, so
like
guys next to me is like that with his arms out, and he's like weeping. Where I'm like, is this like your first time? Like, dude, he comes back at the end. I don't want to.
Spoiler alert! You can't kill those Jews for nothing. They keep coming back.
Is this your first time hearing the story of Jesus? And even the first time I heard it, I didn't start weeping. Like if they go, then they did something really fucked up to his balls. I would be like, oh my God, like I would feel the burden. Dude, they burned his balls. I'm like, oh.
Wait, let me ask you a question because you were raised in this tradition, and I have questions about the Christ idea that I feel like if I ask, people feel I'm being disrespectful, but it just doesn't make sense, right? But I'm sure you've probably asked them.
Go ahead, yeah.
Did Jesus like get sick? Did he have did he go to the bathroom?
Oh, well, you go to the bathroom, obviously.
But it's not obvious because that's waste, right? If you're God, there's no such thing as
he's
waste.
Not
Everything...
North Korean.
No, but why would you?
He's perfect. Well, okay, so that's the concept of perfect. As you know, Adam and Eve.
Right.
Humans are fallen from perfection.
Sure.
Now, and Jehovah's Witness is a little probably different than a lot of other ones.
But the Immaculate Conception means Mary was conceived without sin, right? And Jesus was born pure.
That's Catholic shit you're saying because
the
original sin, and also the evangelicals don't think like that. That's pure Catholic.
Okay,
they're so fucking weird. That's
not weird. It makes more sense their way.
Well, like born without sin, like the original sin being sex was like that St. Augustine kind of thing, about the tree of forbidden knowledge, And so I didn't know this growing up that was a Catholic idea, but like the sex itself was the forbidden fruit, not.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know either. That's from St. Augustine. And that's why they have such a weird, you could tell they're weird by how much anal Catholics do. Like, honestly, it manifests itself. It's going to come out somewhere. So anyway, humans were born perfect. So you were supposed to never die. You'd be, right. I don't know, I guess 33 forever or whatever is a good peak age. And you're supposed to be fruitful and fill the earth. So that means sex is okay. So that's why that's a stupid thing to say it's sex. And then because they sinned and they had the knowledge of good and bad, which is very strange. Like, I'm like, what does that mean, the knowledge of good? One of the indicators was they killed animals and made skins to cover their bodies.
Right.
They realized they were naked. So then God was like, why did you do that? And they're like, oh, we were naked. And we knew you were going to see us. And he was like, well, who told you were naked?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Which is like, I still think about it as such an interesting, like what? So it does tie in. There's something there that I kind of get my head around, so from that point on there, obviously it's like, you're going to have pain. Giving birth was supposed to not be painful. Okay.
Right. But then it became painful. Right. Because that's the curse.
Right. And you're kicked out of paradise. And so it's because what they did, this is how I was taught, is that's an act of rebellion. That's saying, I can do as well without God telling me what to do.
Right.
Etc. So God's like, okay, I could destroy you and start over again, or okay, try it out, see how it goes, and then I'll send someone later to fix this, because what they did, now all their offspring, like a dented bread tin, making dented bread forever and ever. That's
is that the metaphor? That's a smart metaphor.
Yes, and so you're a dented bread, and like Jesus came because we're bad, and that's the nice thing about it. Now here's the part that's interesting about it that I don't hear people say a lot, which I get about Jesus, is even if you don't believe in any of that shit, you can see that people all over feel there's some kind of massive debt of guilt and like unpaid back shit that people have done. And it's all, every element of everywhere. It's like there's been like one long chain of injustice on people that there's no accounting for. Like a bill that's getting the metaphor of the thing. It does. I do see it when I look around, and people feel it like instinctively. They're like, there's not like so. The idea of Jesus, where I do get the idea, is God sent a perfect guy who never did anything wrong to anyone. He only did good. All he did was heal people. The guy did nothing wrong to anyone and does not deserve this. And Jesus says, hey guys, don't fight. Listen, if you need to get comeuppance or whatever, you could all kill me and you can forgive each other, because I'm innocent, did nothing. I'm not even sinful. And now you can forgive each other just as God's forgiving you. There's like there's a thing about it that I totally get. Okay. The issues that I have with it are, one, this is all real roundabout, clearly worked backwards shit. Okay. Because that's such a Rube Goldstein machine of a plan. They'll eat the fruit and then they'll prove, and then a boot will kick a mouse, and then Christ, like you don't really have to do it like with this lab thing where you have to have blood sacrifice. Number one, it sounds like patched up shit from a time when people thought, pouring blood out. So, and also, why would I be on the hook? Why would it be my fault if I'm dented bread? Like, now
right.
A Christian.
And what's wrong with dented bread?
It's not. What's wrong with dented bread? You can't eat it? Yeah. Oh, not in God's kitchen. But right.
No, seriously, right? Like if I'm hungry and I have dented bread, I'm not hungry anymore.
So Christian will go, right, it's not your fault. That's why God's giving you this chance. He shouldn't give you any chance because you're bad, but he knows that it's not your fault. You're born that way. It's a real like mobster.
That's like the Trump tweet. Every time I speak of the losers and haters, I do so great affection. They cannot help the fact they're born fucked up.
I didn't hear that tweet, but that's.
You never heard that tweet? That's his best tweet. Look it up. It's the best tweet. I have it encased in lucite. Fans.
Is he kicked off of Twitter still?
Of course, but this is This is 2012, maybe.
Well, thank God we still have the Taliban, because let me tell you something. Their meme game is fucking hot.
It's fire, dude.
I think it's got to be someone British because of certain terms that I heard used in some of the memes. But they're savvy as fuck, whoever they are. They're not. Yeah. This ain't your fucking mama's Taliban.
And the corporate press doesn't know how to handle like fundamentalist shit posters.
Well, because I never thought I'd see the day where like liberals are not the shit posters, like, you know, back in the days of, I mean, it's mind blowing. Like, that was the fucking liberal thing, was to be like a shit, and like, and now fundamentalist Muslims are carrying the torch.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, am I in topsy-turvy land? And then, dude, every time somebody goes, sometimes people be like, oh yeah, like, you know, they'll ask me about when I mean, I guess this was before there was a word of cancel culture, when I got all that shit on me from media, but people ask about it. I'll do podcasts and shit, and I'm like, they think I was in trouble for jokes that I said. Right. I've never once been in any kind of trouble for a joke like that in any way.
Never told a joke in my life.
And and that's because I don't believe in telling jokes. I never had a problem. You know, when people go, oh, this is hurting comedy. Like, is cancel culture hurting Like, what an inane fucking...
Yeah.
It's so much worse than that. Like, if that was all it was harming...
Right,
I didn't get in trouble for any comedy. I got in trouble for my own feelings about something.
Right.
It's like, so that, yeah, sure, it affects comedy because the foundation is honesty and being able to... So, yeah, obviously that's... But it's way deeper than that. And the people that ask that shit, they don't have anything to lose in that department.
Right.
Well, I don't think. I don't have to fucking, I don't let things bother me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Anyway, that's the story of Jesus Christ.
But I still don't understand how he is totally God, he's totally man, right?
We didn't believe in a Trinity. That's another thing where we would be different than a Catholic.
Oh, you don't believe in Trinity?
No, that's some kind of pagan nonsense that was incorporated into it. I mean,
oh, okay.
I'm saying this as if I was still in it, but I don't.
No, but you understand it. You had it beaten into you, so that's
That was all settled. I think it was Council of Nicaea is where they settled that issue.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's who won that battle. It's a real Warhammer 40K background.
Yeah.
And so, but that we didn't teach us because it sounds ridiculous. But now it's funny because I just thought it sounded ridiculous, like they're all the same guy, and I would have my scriptures of why he's not, and somebody else has their reason. Well, they'll come back at you with it, you know. And meanwhile, you're just wasting time on nonsense.
So, for you guys, he was regarded as
he was God's son.
He's secondary.
Yes.
Okay.
He's a creation. Yes.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah. Well, that's
which is a heresy. It's the Arian heresy.
I'll tell you what, dude. That's what I used to say until yes. That's what I used to say until now. When I think about it, I go, well, okay, if I'm like a higher dimensional being, that fucking, that's probably what they're like. Is they're like three things at once, you know? Like you're just one thing at once in this lower. Now it's sci-fi makes sense to me. If how I think about
it was Bill Maher who gave me this example. I think he was doing some movie and someone says it's like water and ice and steam.
Yes,
and I'm like, that
is phase transitioned.
Yeah, but that's a good way of looking. I'm like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, right. Well, it's a. There's another one like that too, but you know, I'm still thinking like, okay, if that's me, why am I calling myself father and all? Like that's where it gets weird, and that's where you know, logically, he wasn't God. He was. Like, I think there was a guy. I don't, you know, people like my brother's like, it probably was no Jesus, but I think that thing that, what's his name? Christopher Hitchens said, I kind of agree with, because he's like, well, if he didn't exist at all, why go to all the trouble to reverse engineer his bloodline, you know, to
well, they didn't reverse engineer because the bloodline goes through Joseph. So even that doesn't make sense.
Say it again.
The bloodline that they give goes through Joseph, I thought.
I don't know, but the effort gone in to prove his legitimacy, like for a fictitious character, why would you even need to go to all that trouble? Which I
because if you're supposed to, you're trying to tie it into the Old Testament, right? So you have to kind of ground it in something that we all of us, you know, at the time agree on.
It's
canon. They wanted to make him canon.
It's a lot of influence. It's a lot of influence for a guy to not have existed at all. Now, sure, maybe totally different than anything, and don't have the right story, but I just don't think there's not a guy at all. I think that's highly unlikely.
Yeah, but I mean, I think there was a guy. Let me make that perfectly clear. But we know a lot about Hercules, right?
Yeah.
We know a lot about Achilles. We know a lot about Superman.
Yeah, and Muhammad, but he's real.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is, just because there's a backstory doesn't prove or disprove that the person existed.
Well, okay. We haven't yet gone to war over Superman. We may, There's going to be a black Superman.
There's been a black Superman, Steel.
Yes, Shaquille O'Neal, and I'm glad you acknowledged that. Because
I thought that was Sinbad.
No, a lot.
No, I'm kidding.
No.
There's this whole thing about
Yeah,
the Sinbad
right.
Genie movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Steel was a black Superman.
Yeah.
And he's not getting the credit he should. And it's like putting Superman in blackface. When they do race swaps to certain characters, it's like blackface.
Wait, you don't remember this in like 92?
What?
Superman died, right? And they brought back they brought back 4 Supermen, right?
Yeah.
Which is the real one. And when they released their outlines, the press release, what they were thinking of doing at the time is there were going to be 4 different races. And they settled with Steel being black. Superboy.
Did they say 4 different races in the press release? It was what the word was on the street at the time. And Superboy, you can tell, but they brought him back. He looks Asian. And did they say he was, or did the guy draw him kind of Asian? Then they're like, he's not Asian. Let's just not talk about it.
So they didn't do it because they just showed the outlines of the characters. Like, these are going to be the 4 Supermen. But Steel they kept him. He's the black Superman.
Right. You know, my buddy Ethan Van Sciver used to draw Green Lantern.
Oh, he's an amazing artist. Holy crap.
Yeah, Ethan's fantastic.
Yeah, he's Comic Skate. He's Comic Skate, isn't he?
Yeah. Which, by the way, I didn't know that wasn't a thing he made up. That was some like insult from media
like
people.
Gamergate.
Yeah, to make it, because they love that fucking Gamergate shit.
Yeah.
But he was telling me like that's a job at DC, is like every few years you got to change Superman enough to not pay the surviving relatives of of the creators.
Oh yeah.
So when these characters suddenly become gay, it's to fuck somebody out of residuals 9 times out of 10.
Oh yeah.
The spit curl they got rid of. So that's what they have, a team of people. I think he might say this to the other guy like Zach who does these videos, but like in that, compared to comedy or whatever business where you had like the lunatic, like cat shit brain type of leftist takeover, comic books, it's crazy. Like they were able to push anybody out they wanted and then gatekeep. So all the pros have that guy Mark Miller who made all like the boy. Was he The Boys? Is that Mark Miller?
I think he might be. He's very, very influential.
Dude, he wrote a thing. He's left Twitter to you can go to his newsletter now, and he wrote, it's the most scathing thing about Twitter. Like, and it's not even like direct. It's really like great writing, like why he went off. But basically, the least talented people get to hold the most talented people hostage at all times.
Oh yeah.
But in the comic book business, it's really worse. It's like,
dude, you don't understand. Dan DiDio, who took over DC Comics for a long time, before he took over, he was a writer, right? And he took over the Superboy comic, and his idea to make a twist on the Superboy comic was Superboy became the super in his building. So he was like fixing plumbing. It's like that's the quality mind that took
I had to
over
let
DC
that
Comics.
wash over me just now.
I know, because it takes a second to be like, am I missing something? Because this sounds like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. No. That was it.
That's really, oh my God, that's really amazing. Like,
that's the kind of thing where if there's like a brainstorming, everyone's throwing out ideas, and some are stupid, and like, people are riffing, right? And then some guy says that, and just the air comes out of the room, and everyone's just looking around, and they're like, "How do we get rid of this guy? Because how is he here?"
We stayed up all night, but it was worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Go with it,
guys. Let's take a break so I can say, "Hey there" to the auto mechanics, guys that fix their own cars. Cooler people than me. I want to tell you about RockAuto.com, the online store with every auto part at the best prices. It's your one-stop shop for everything auto parts. RockAuto.com has been in business for 20 years. They make it easy to find the parts you need at the best possible prices. It's as the 21st century, man. There's no need to go through the hassles of going to the auto parts store and not getting what you need and having to order it and whatever else you go through. I don't know because I can't fix cars, but you know what it's like. So why don't you save yourself some trouble and go to rockauto.com and easily find everything you need, whether you're a mechanic in an auto shop or you're just working on your own car. Everyone has access to the same incredible pricing at rockauto.com. So once more, go to rockauto.com, no promo code needed, as their pricing is already that good. When you order, please make sure to tell rockauto.com that you heard about them on Can't Get Right with Kurt Metzger. I would appreciate it. If you find some good car parts, let them know that I sent you. That's all. I mean, you don't have to, but it'd be cool if you did. RockAuto.com. All right, let's get back to the show. Yeah, he what was he? Oh, he also told me about last time I had him on when Justice League who's the guy who played Cyborg in Justice League, Ray something. Remember all the controversy about like against Joss Whedon and against Warner Brothers because they cut up the Snyder movie, I guess, and Cyborg.
Oh, yeah.
And a whole thing about how it was like, but he didn't say like what was done to him ever. He just said it was abusive and racist and all this other shit. And Ethan told me it was who's the other guy? The guy that consults on all those movies now from DC.
Jeff Johns?
Yeah, so Jeff Johns, they showed him the costume for Cyborg, and Jeff Johns, he's looking and he goes, "Where's his dick?" He goes, "What?" And Jeff Johns was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, his dick." He goes, "I don't know. I mean, maybe it's blown off. I don't know." He goes, "You think that's a good idea?" This is like when all BLM, like, this is a good time now to have a black man with no dick on the.
Oh my God.
And like that's a character, and then that's now it fits to me that's why he's not saying what his big problem was.
Oh God.
Because he didn't say. He just said they're bad, which I find crazy that you don't even have to tell us what someone did.
Right. Yeah.
It makes you look like a bitch to do that. That's like a chick move to like, I need you to feel this way before I tell you.
Right.
Like, anyway, I bet you anything that's what it is.
Holy
Besides
crap.
getting like cut down, your part cut down,
Yeah.
But a lot of physicists say we may live in a Snyderverse. So I was watching Lex Friedman and they were discussing the possibility.
We live next to each other now. It's great.
I'm coming out there on the 13th.
Oh, for what?
For me and Kyle do Rogan.
For what?
Me and Kyle are gonna do Rogan's show.
Oh, okay, cool.
in,
Drop me a line.
Austin.
I'll see you then.
Yeah, man.
So hopefully I have my shit by then.
What do you got? What do you got to promote? Anything?
Nothing. I'm just like talking to you, and I got nothing to do here because all my shit's in transit.
Oh, fair enough. Well, you got some. You can go through some text messages from your
From my friend's mom.
Yeah, you could chat with your friend's mom. Just start talking to her. And
She's a big fan, Kurt. Big fan. Never misses an episode.
We made it's almost done, but we're working on a Star Trek, a Joe Biden Star Trek show, and yeah, it's called Shark Tits because Joe Biden wrote it, so the opening is him mispronouncing something. That's why it sounds called Shark Tits, and yeah, I can't we just made the song dude. Fucking, I give him lines to a song and he can make the music part. It's hilarious.
It's amazing.
Yes,
amazing.
We got a Michael Jackson song. They meet a space entity who resembles Michael Jackson, much like the Nagilum episode of Next Generation. If you ever saw that,
I'm not a Star Trek. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Anyway, I don't know. I have anything else. I don't have any other business. I got nothing.
You're in LA, right?
Yeah.
Are you getting ready? Are you getting sick of it?
Yeah, well, I live close during the pandemic. It sucked because I live by a comedy store, so I always could go hang out. Before it was cool because I could I'm walking distance, so I could walk there, and if I was bored, go somewhere because that's the only kind of shit I really hang out at, and so I started just doing podcasts a lot, and then this sketch stuff, and it kind of took the edge off LA. I mean, it's a Calcutta or kind of now. It is. That's the other thing that Jimmy nailed Bill Maher on, where Bill Maher's talking about how we're helping fighting him. It's there's 600,000 people just in the street here.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
They're going off about this fucking, because his pet thing is Muslims,
right.
And their religion's bad. Which is, I don't give a shit about the religion. You think that's the thing that would turn it all around if they just stop being Muslim,
right?
Or stop being fundamental? Because if you're wondering what that's like, you could talk to our allies who fuck boys. That's what it is when they don't have that.
Yeah,
they have what you call a boy fucking culture, which also was kept quiet because
which we paid them for, or somehow got funded.
We paid them in boys at times.
Yes,
I believe is what the reports say.
It's very disturbing.
I mean, literally that. I'm not making a joke. A warlord was paid in boys. They had a party. There's a whole article. I think it's from before Vice was worthless. about a guy who got his military career, because they can hear the Northern Alliance people raping children in a tent next to them, which, like, you know, the trauma of war is one thing, but I'll bet you that'll stick in your head for quite some time. And so they're like, you gotta just keep quiet about it. It's their culture, is what they were told by the superiors. Like, I hope people are disillusioned out of that fucking. I'm gonna go over there and help. Like,
they are at this point. Did you see what Robert O'Neill changed his? He's the guy who shot bin Laden. He changed his Twitter bio to a guy who fought for his country for no reason or something like that. It was really like, what the fuck? So
really,
yeah. Yes, the military is getting red pilled now because they see what respect the government has for them, and they're like, 20 years. I did several tours, my buddies, you know, it's like, and for what? And it's one thing when it was Vietnam, when like you came back and people giving them shit. This is the government giving you shit. It's like, I trust, and also the fact that all those people who trusted the US government, now they're getting, you know, going to get slaughtered. It's like, wait, who are the good guys here? There aren't any. And like, that's what people realize with international affairs. There's never good guys. It's always bad versus worse, you know? Right.
Is that, yeah. And then the Taliban has now, I mean, it's awkward for me because I'm friends with both of them, so I don't want to.
That Lewis has that great bit in his stand-up act about the great thing about being Puerto Rican is that we can wait till the race war happens and pick which side wins and side with them.
Well, a certain class can of Puerto Ricans. The Latinx class has made their choice. Animals and proles and Louis J. Gomez are free. That is the quote of the new system. Yeah, all the people. Let me ask you this, actually, because we did one of the shows we did on Kyle's show. Now we do it on weekly, and we had a Biden game show, but it came out the day of the thing about all the people that died from ISIS-K, the soldiers that were about to go home. And
you know, ISIS-K is just pig Latin for CIA. Like, I realized that. I'm like, they're being really sloppy with this shit.
No, yeah. That's so fun. It is. Dude, it's crazy. By the way, we're friends with Al-Qaeda again. They're helping us in Syria.
I don't understand.
The Free Syrian Al-Qaeda army that we give them money now. Is that fucking amazing?
Yes.
It's amazing. Like, don't be too mad at them, guys. They're going to be our friend.
Yeah.
But some people in the comments who were fans, and they weren't like attacking us. The guy's like, yeah, I can't even laugh because like Biden murdered my somebody who must be a veteran saying it.
Yeah. And
I was like, oh shit. Like, I didn't even realize people had that strong of a thing, you know?
Of course. Yeah.
But, and like, I understand, I mean, you know, I understand that, like, is that Biden murdering? Is that on him to that degree? Like,
to some extent.
Well, certainly to some extent, but how much more of an extent than any of the rest of it?
The buck's got to stop somewhere. And I think the fact that he gave that talk and is like, well, this is what it looks like. So too bad. I think that if there had been some at least hand waving about, oh, this is terrible, you know, like people know it's bullshit, but at least they know the game.
They blew up 7 children. Or what's going to make you happy?
Yeah.
What do you want? He blew up some kids. That's the most unbelievable. Like, you will pay. They're like 7 children. God, great job.
It's awful. It's really awful. And there's still people left there, right? I've been following the news all week because I don't have a computer.
Like,
aren't there still Americans left behind there?
From what I've seen, headlines that said that.
Yeah. Okay. It's very disturbing.
I don't know if it was, but why would there be too? That's my other question. Is like, why would there be people still there?
Because if there's not enough airplanes coming out of there.
So, because how many people did they get out?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
It sounded like they got a lot of people out, you know,
but not everybody.
Not as many, obviously. So I'm just curious, like, what was the heads up? And then I heard this thing that the Taliban offered. They go, why don't you control the city until your people are out? And they're like, no, we're getting out. Holy
crap? Well, you heard about the death list too, the kill list.
The thing of the names of like, can you find these people? Why would they give those names? Like, is that undercover a kill list?
I don't understand it, and I want to assume I'm missing something.
Well, is it a thing where if the Taliban offered to let them hold on to it for a minute to get their people out? This is what's hilarious. Now that ISIS now that new ISIS is out,
Yeah.
the Taliban, they're making memes. They're fucking being cool.
I don't know what's going on.
like,
They're doing bumper cars. Yeah.
Yeah. So what that makes me think is they've been talking with them, the whole time. So
they've clearly been talking to them the whole time. That's not even a question.
So it's an awkward position to be put in because everybody was all hyped up about the Taliban. And what are they going to not talk to them? How is it even going to work if they don't? Like, also, I remember the Taliban's crime was I didn't know this. The Taliban offered to give us fucking bin Laden. And we go, no dice. You're bad. And we're coming in.
Right. I think he got offered to them more. I think Clinton got offered to him bin Laden in Sudan years ago during his presidency.
I knew about that, but I could have swore I watched it on
Maybe
Saga.
You're right.
Saga and what's her head?
A crystal ball.
And Crystal Ball. I could have sworn I watched Saga say it.
I believe you.
But I might be wrong. But it's the same thing as like the 3 non-combatants dead for every person.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and then my other favorite thing is, what's the name of the guy, the drone pilot that ratted out what we were doing with the drones? And
Chelsea Manning?
No, the other guy. He wrote a whole statement. He was a guy who would kill people with drones. And basically, when they said non-combatants, like we're not, luckily.
The one where they were targeting hospitals?
Well, his specific thing that he wrote about was just this group of men. Basically, they changed the definition of combatant to mean any man of military age.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, don't worry. They mostly farmed it out to crazy militias.
Yeah.
But there's always a CIA guy who it's fucking crazy when you hear it. It's more that Verizon shit. Like,
yeah.
We don't know what happened. We paid them to do the fucking thing.
We got betrayed. We're the good guys.
So they've just been murdering people just because they were a male of military age for quite a bit. And the guy that exposed it is in prison. I don't even remember his name, John something.
It's not murder because we're the good guys, right?
We're fighting oppression. So what are you going
to... So kill whoever you want.
Well, I mean, it's not like, I'm very sorry, but, Ellen DeGeneres is not nice, it turns out. So there's a lot of problems going around. We don't have to... Look, we got our problems too. Yeah, no, but that's programming, dude. It's to get you to talk about just gibbering nonsense and not even like, it's breathtaking. It actually like takes my breath away. And then every time you hear anything like, whoa, that was even worse than I thought it was.
Oh yeah.
And then it goes down to not even a sliver of the thing that you thought was involved in it.
Right.
It's really amazing.
And how brazen it is.
Well, it's just funny because when I watched that Bill Maher thing, I was like, oh, this is a dumb. Even though I more understood, he said more than Jimmy was given to him. He just said some of these dumb things like that about it because he's on that Muslim kick, and I'm just like, oh, he doesn't fucking. Well, Jimmy said this. The dude, when does he talk to any? He's out of touch. Like, when does he talk to anybody besides a black hooker in the guest house, not the main house? No, you're not going to bring him to the main house, and nor should you if you're getting hookers. Don't bring him. No matter what color they are. Hookers.
Did they teach you that in Bible study?
I mean, that's just smart common sense. He has his house for hookers, and that's where they go.
Yeah.
And because he said something about like about ask foreigners how much, or how much better it is here, like immigrants, like to ask your maid or your something. I'm like, ask my maid. Like, who's this? Who's he saying this to? To ask my maid? Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's just talking to like, his circle of like friends, I guess. That's really what it is, right? Like,
of course.
This was the main thing I remember Hassan for, not his dumb house, but one of the worst takes I've ever seen a person have on comedy in a field of some stiff competition. And it was after Dave Chappelle's hilarious special came out where he got some shit because he had jokes about trans issues.
Yeah.
All of which were great jokes. I saw many about how beyond the pale it was. Curiously, no one quoted any of the jokes or said what they were. Because all you need to know is they were bad. So right there, that's like, I think you're full of shit if you're not going to tell me what he said.
Right.
And so Hassan, so they're talking about in the Young Turks, fucking these insincere people and how awful it was. This is when I watch him in his fucking hat. Here, Mike, put him up one more time because this is what blows my mind of him saying this when I say what he said about Chappelle's set. Hassan with his fucking hat and Obama necklace and all that. They're talking about how crazy it was and how damaging and terrible and all this shit. Okay? And then fucking Hassan goes, "Read the room, Dave Chappelle."
No, he didn't.
I swear to you he did. And because it's burned into my brain that I can never forget him talking
Holy
about
crap.
that and going, so, because, I mean, okay, so first of all, the room that he was in, he was killing, and also the room I was in, everyone was laughing.
Of
so it
course.
seems like he read the room. What room are you talking about?
This, I'm gonna defend, not defend him. I'm gonna explain him. What he's doing is this John Oliver effect, right? Where there's a lot of quotes that these dimwits use on Twitter.
Oh, he's trying to do. Oh, you're goddamn right. That's exactly what it is.
It's like when people say "sit down." It's like I'm on Twitter. I am sitting down. What does that mean? Sit down?
It's like touch grass or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not. He's not using it literally. It's just one of their little catchphrases to try to silence somebody.
Yeah, right.
And you took him at face value because you're giving him respect that he shouldn't have in this context.
Well, he was on the very respected TYT news program, which
that's what it was. It's some little
recently.
Twitter cliche.
Wow, that's amazing. That is really something. I wonder how many. I mean, I don't go on that like that now.
Because they have a few little, like, I guess it's almost like prescriptions, right? You just toss them out, and when the person is supposed to be silenced, like this.
You know which one I love?
Read a book. Which book? Which book? Is there a particular?
Well, people I like use this one, so I'm not even.
Okay, what is
the
it?
room's annoying, but late stage capitalism. That little phrase.
Sure, it means it's meaningless, right?
I'm like, a joke. Like,
what's that mean?
Like, like, what are you talking?
It's not
you
a
know
pregnancy.
what late stage communism is?
It's not a
early
pregnancy.
stage capitalism. It turns out.
It's not a pregnancy. It's not. You have 9 months and then capitalism implodes.
Oh, you thought of it as pregnancy. I thought of it as cancer. They meant like.
Oh, no. What I'm
cancer.
saying is capitalism.
Pregnancy.
Capitalism is not a being, right? So it's not like you can say after 9 months of capitalism or whatever, 2 years of cancer, this is going to implode. That's ridiculous. But they're trying to make it like.
Capitalism is a being, and his name is Hassan.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
If I had to condense what capitalism, the essence of it, it's Hassan Piker. It's a stupid hat and a shirt that says Obama
and a $3 million house
and a $3 million house
and telling Dave Chappelle to read the room.
I mean, that is.
Yeah, that's capitalism.
Yeah, it is, dude. It's amazing. It's like I guess that's maybe what his fans were upset at, him being the living embodiment of capitalism.
Man, we really wrapped this up nice. We fucking did a callback all the way and we resolved it nice.
Man, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it, Mike.
Dude, I always love talking to you, and hopefully you have time when you're in Austin. We'd love to meet you in person.
Yeah, on the 13th I'll be out there, man.
Yeah. Okay,
Hi,
cool.
brother.
I'll talk to you. Bye.
Because I can't get right. Because I can't get right. Yeah. You're listening to Can't Get Right.